What's up, everybody? Back to the Real Estate Momentum Podcast. I'm Aaron Smith, your host, and I've got my friend Cameron Berens on with me today. Cameron is a local real estate agent. We are partners and competitors in the same market. And the reason that I wanted him to come on is he's a social media guy, just like myself. He likes to tell stories on social media. He's a damn good real estate agent, and he and I just went through something really difficult called the 75 Hard. Yes. We're going to unpack that today. Cameron, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you reaching out to me about it. And yeah, it's funny, we didn't even know until a couple weeks in, and we started chatting about it, of doing the challenge. But I'm really excited to talk about it. I
saw you post the what do you call it, the cornerstone key, the screenshot of the 75 Hard thing. I was like, holy crap, he's doing it too. Like, and we didn't even talk about it. And I think one of the things that we want to go over today is why does it matter as a business owner? Why does it matter if we go through something like 75 Hard? Who cares, right? So we'll unpack that a little bit. First and foremost, for the people who are watching this, we typically do real estate stuff. Mm-hmm. You and I have that in common.
Yes.
So let's talk about really quick, just briefly, so that because people are highly curious about what's going on in the market right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. It's we're coming up on mid-October here. Mm-hmm. So in your words, how would you describe the business right now?
So ever changing day by day almost. So I'm actually on October 20th will be my 7-year mark in the business.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool.
So been around for a little bit, and usually this time of year is a little calm. I mean, we're getting into the fall market, but there's nothing usually wacky going on this time of year. But now it's been month by month. It's what you would ask me what's going on 2 months ago is not the same as right now.
It's insane because it's every single day we get new information. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen me show the graph or post a picture of the graph that I track on active listings and pending sales?
I've seen those graphs. I don't know if I've seen yours, but yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, so I track every single day. I go in there and I look in our local Northern Kentucky MLS and I say, okay, there are X number of pendings. These are homes that buyers have chosen. These are residential sales, condos, single families, new construction that people have decided to go under contract on. So they're between the point of I am buying the house and I own the house, right? Okay. And then you've got active listings, which they're listed, and I could go in there and write an offer on them right now and nobody else is under contract on it. They're not pending yet. Mm-hmm. As of this morning at 5:45 in the morning, the active properties and pending properties are the exact same.
Really?
It has not been that case since April of 2020. There has been way more pending properties than active properties for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Longer than 2 years.
So we're around, if I had to guess, I know everyone's market's different, but we're around like 800 or something like that?
805.
805.
Yeah, you nailed it, right?
I knew I didn't know the pending one, but I did know the active listing one, which I imagined we were going to exceed a little bit throughout the day since Friday. But.
And the story that I've told on the data there is when pending properties are up here and actives are kind of here, then there's more demand than what the active properties can support. You have low inventory, right? Mm-hmm. Now the inventory is still low, but what we're seeing is that demand is falling,
right?
And that's highly due to seasonality, right? So it's time of year, like you said. It's usually right around 4th of July things start to cool down.
Yep.
But then we've also got the interest rate shift.
Yes.
So that a lot of that's happening, and sometimes it's comforting to me to know that other people are seeing it too, because it's not just what I'm doing. It's commonplace.
And it's really, I mean, there's always a little bit of a lag time because unlike maybe the stock market, which happens instantaneously, in real estate, what's happening right now, we're really not going to know the effects of to 45, 60 days, even 90 days, because it's a longer transactional process. You can't just go on to your account and sell your stock like you can with real estate, or the opposite way. You can't do that with real estate as you can with stock. So that's what's very interesting is the numbers you're saying right now, but
that's because of what happened 2-3 months ago.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to watch what happens, and we're starting to see more price reductions.
Yes,
I'm seeing it left and right. I've had to reduce prices, and We're starting to see higher days on market.
Yep.
And
Open house signs everywhere. We didn't see that like a year ago.
Yeah, we're having to train agents on how to hold an open house again because who did that? Because it would sell before the open house happened.
Yep.
But that's not reason to worry. It's like the last 2 years has been normal for pandemic times in the United States real estate market.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to adjust to the new normal. The problem is that when the Fed raises interest rates overnight and it just flips the script on us, we've got to adapt quickly.
Right. So I think as agents, like you said, adapt quickly. And I think what happens, at least what I'm noticing every time that the Fed increases rates, there's a shock factor of the public doesn't know what to do. The consumers don't know what to do. They're like, okay, I did want to buy, but now I'm not sure. Let me think about this. And with some people, maybe it doesn't make sense anymore. But with a lot of people, does it still make sense to buy? And that's the conversations, or sell or buy, whatever you need to do. But it definitely sends a shock. And that's what's been a little frustrating with the Fed deciding, okay, well, we want to go up this much and then we want to go up that much. I know they have to do things in increments. They can't just go up 3% 1 point, or I don't know if they did that and ripped the Band-Aid off, would it send a shockwave through things? But it seems like it's causing a reset period every time they do it, where people are like, hold on, let me step back again and think about it.
So just the other day, I had Dr. Abdullah Albarani on the podcast. He's an associate professor of economics at Northern Kentucky University, and he said the reason people are taking the foot off the gas pedal right now is because of uncertainty. And anytime things get uncertain, election cycles, uncertainty, usually the real estate market kind of cools off around election cycles, major election cycles, because we just don't know what's going to happen. We're going to wait until next year, see what happens and all that. So when things shift, with money nationally, people are going to take their foot off on the gas. But the thing is that if you're looking for a house to buy and the interest rates are high, make a decision for yourself today. If it's time to buy and it's time to move, great. If you need to rent to stay mobile, you need to move in a year, your job might change, you might have to move somewhere else. It's okay to rent. Yeah. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
So it's just where you are. My main statement to anybody watching this, whether you're an agent, whether you're a consumer out there, talk to your real estate agent that you trust, whether it's Cameron or me, one of us. Talk to your real estate agent that you trust. Find out what's going on in that micro environment that you're thinking about moving in.
Yeah, that's a big thing too. And I mean, that's I'm sure we could unpack this and unpack this and unpack this.
I'm ready to talk about the 75 hard.
Right. Well, and the last comment I'll make about what you just said there is also keep in mind where you're looking to buy. Don't just listen to, like he said, talk to your trusted person. Talk to either Aaron or I. You don't need to talk to anybody else. Just talk to one of us. But either way, what's happening in our market may not be happening in some other market. So when you see everyone on TV saying home prices are already we're seeing home prices correct by this much, or home prices, I know we've already seen this, or I've paid attention in I think it's been in Dallas and Houston. They've already seen home prices come down compared to what they were as a peak. I know the median home price has gone down a lot. Mm-hmm. But does that mean it's happening in your market? Or does that mean it's happening in our market? Real estate is local.
Well, and you think about Northern Kentucky. We'll take Cincinnati out of the equation for a second, but Northern Kentucky, one zip code of 41017 has 6 or 7 cities in it.
Yes.
And those cities have different school districts. Mm-hmm. So the market in Fort Mitchell might be different than the market in Villa Hills.
Exactly.
You just need to talk to somebody that you trust, especially since times are uncertain.
Yeah. Because, again, it may not make sense to make a move in some city or some area, but maybe it makes sense in this area. Price points, that's another thing, too. Are you buying at $600,000 or are you buying at $200,000? You're going to have a totally different market within a market.
Right.
So
yeah, and it's the more uncertain things are and the more they change, the more I want to talk about it and tell that story. So we'll promise to keep you guys updated on what's happening, but everything's going to be okay. Real estate markets operate in cycles, and what comes up goes down. What goes down comes up. We're all going to be just fine.
Absolutely.
You ready to talk about some 75 hard, brother?
I'm excited to talk about it.
So for those who haven't heard about the 75 hard, let's talk about it really quick. Okay. It was created by Andy Frisella.
Yes.
I think he's the founder of First Form Supplements.
He's one of the co-founders of First Form. Yes.
Right. So unpack that for me. We got tasks that we have to do every day. Today's day number 75 for Cameron.
Yes, this is day 75. I'm not technically finished. I still have my water here. I'm carrying around with me. I got to drink a gallon. So we'll start there.
Yeah,
then.
we picked this day because it's day 75
My
for this
last
guy,
day.
and I'm pumped.
almost done. Yes,
I finished a week ago, and
Yeah.
life's still. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So
Yeah.
unpack it for us. What do you got to do every day?
Yeah, so a gallon of water, and you can't add anything to it. If you want to drink your cup of black coffee or something outside of that, you can, but it doesn't count. You got to drink your 1 gallon of just raw water. You got to do 2 45-minute workouts per day. Catch is one of them must be outside.
No matter what the weather is, unless you're in a
weather.
hurricane.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So use a little common sense, but if you're going to lose your life over it, don't do it. But if it's raining outside, if it's snowing outside, if it's really hot outside, you got to do it. And then ideally, well, not ideally, they're supposed to be separated, not going
3 hours in between. Yeah.
Yeah. Not going straight. And I think the reason for that is because some people were doing their 45-minute workout indoors and then going right outside. And it's the whole point of it is supposed to be difficult, and it's supposed to be create discipline, which we'll go into that more.
Yep.
So we got the gallon of water, we got the 2 workouts separated 45 minutes each. We've got to read 10 pages of a self-development, self-improvement kind of book, nonfiction.
Self-development or nonfiction book.
Yep.
Physical copy.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You can't just audiobook it, because I've had some people that are like, why are you buying those books? Just do the audio. Nope. Physical
It's too
copy.
easy.
I don't even think you're not allowed to use like a tablet or anything either, right? It's got to be the physical
You
copy.
can use a Kindle.
Kindle,
Like you can
okay.
use a tablet, but you can't blow the words up so that the number of pages.
Gotcha. Okay.
It has to
that's
be
probably
like
what that was
normal
about.
print.
Yeah.
You can't blow it up.
Okay.
But I did read. Andy made an adjustment on that. It's like you can take 20,000 books with you.
Right.
And
it just makes sense
Right.
with today's world. But then the next thing is you've got to pick a diet and stick to it. And the other caveats of that are no cheat meals. So even if you did really good that week and you're like, I'm going to go on a date night, have a cheat meal. Nope, no cheat meals. And the biggie we've found for a lot of people is no alcohol whatsoever. So we have a pool, we entertain. That was something I was disappointed about. But, it's
75 days.
Yeah, but
It's
we've
not
had
forever.
so many people that was their number one thing, where they said, oh, yeah, you had me at no alcohol. I got to have my glass of wine or have my beer. Like, it's 75 days. Your body will love you for it. Like,
Right.
give it a try. And then the last thing is the daily picture.
the progress photo.
picture,
And a lot of
yeah.
people fail on the progress photo because it's so damn simple
Yeah.
that they forget about it.
So the reason I already made my post about how today's my last day of 75 hard and I have my before and after. And the reason I did that is because I actually took mine in the morning every morning.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to forget. So Stephanie and I, my wife Stephanie, she did it as well. And we did it first thing in the morning. I didn't do that at first. Then we started getting into the routine of doing that.
Man, yeah. So we're about to talk about how we did it, but first I want to talk about why.
Why?
All right. So, who brought this to you? Like, who said, "Hey, man, 75 hard," or where did you see it?
We've just had a few friends on Facebook that also are self-employed or small business owners that we're friends with, and some of them in other parts of the country. And it's like we saw one person doing it, didn't really pay much attention to it. Like, oh, cool, somebody's doing a challenge. And then we saw another person doing it, another person doing it. I'm like, all right, what is this?
It's only 75 days. It can't be that hard.
Yeah, 75 days. And then we're like, okay, hold on, it's this, this, and this. Like, that seems like a lot. But it was some people that were like, all right, they are always trying to better themselves and strive for more. I'm like, okay, if they're doing it, maybe we should give this a try.
And you must have respected who they are.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, if that person's doing it, that's something that might help me too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's why, or how we heard about it.
So
that.
I've heard about 75 hard for years now. At least 3 years.
Well, when we heard it had been around for a while, like, how have we not heard of this sooner? But,
Oh man, I've been hearing about it forever, and the excuses start flowing, right? It's like, oh, well, I don't want to work outside, and it's 2 workouts, and it's 45 minutes. It's an hour and a half out of your day, and then the reading's nothing for me. Like, I read all the time. You'll hear me cite books and stuff all the time, just because I've had that much influence from reading, and I was excited about that part.
yeah.
But this go round, a friend of mine here in our co-work space, a workout buddy of mine, he said, hey, will you do 75 hard with me? Without hesitation, I said, absolutely not. And he said, because I'd looked into this before. I'd given it thought.
You were going to say absolutely yes.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And he said, why? And I said, I've got too many excuses.
Yeah.
It's like I've got too many reasons not to.
Yeah.
I think, oh, I'm busy, right? I'm
Yeah.
a busy agent.
That's the big
You're
one for
busy
us,
too. It's
yeah.
like my life is so unpredictable that I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I went on throughout the rest of my day, and this was early July. It was like mid to early July, right? So when we had this conversation,
You probably started yours on July 17th?
18th.
18th, okay.
So I go on about the rest of my day, and I have a showing that afternoon. I show up about 20 minutes before my clients arrive at the showing, and I'm like, damn, this 75 hard thing. And then something else had happened throughout the day where I made some kind of excuse, and it was like either I'd overcommitted or undercommitted, or I'd done something, and I'm like, gosh damn it, like I need this. Like I looked introspectively, and I was like, I'm better. I've made a lot of self-improvement over the last 3 years, but I'm better than what I'm putting out there.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much better I am. So I called my guy up, and I was like, dude, like you got in my head. You planted some kind of seed and screwed my head all up.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to do this, I'm going all in. Like I'm not going to pull any punches on it. Like I'm going to finish it. Mm-hmm. That's why I hesitated, because I'm not going to commit to something when I'm just going to fall off or cheat on it or something like that.
I'm not even going to try. No, I'm not going to do it.
So that night I went home and I put together my calendar, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, when am I waking up? And I actually put a calendar together with water checkpoints in it. So I had an alarm.
Okay.
I set an alarm on my phone.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, let's start August 1st. He goes, okay, August 1st it is. Cool. So I set an alarm on my phone for 7:30 in the morning, 11:30 in the morning, and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Those were water checkpoints.
Okay.
For me to look and see how much water have I drank. Because nobody wants to be peeing all night.
Right.
And you've done it. So, I know you have.
I know. I'll tell you my experience with that once you finish up.
Yeah. So here's what happened to me, and like leading up to the day I got started. I'm targeting August 1st, right? Mm-hmm. I've got a family vacation in July, and I was like, you know what? I'll start this when I get back from vacation.
So many people, they're like, hey, I want to start this, but I got a vacation, and I'm like, I can already tell you're not going to do it then.
Yep. Yeah. You're not committed. So, and I wasn't either until. So I said, you know what? I'm going to run a test week, the week before vacation. I'm going to figure out where things going to fall apart. I'll test out my diet and see what's going to happen. And I'm in the gym on day 3 of test week. This was probably like July 21st or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I found out that another guy in my gym, Casey, who's a friend of mine, he had started on the same day I started, but he started for real, and I was just testing it out. Okay. And he hears me talking about it and like asking questions like, has anybody done this and all that?
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you mean you're testing it out? I was like, well, I got vacation next week. I'm just seeing where it's going to break down. I'm going to start on August 1st. Yeah. He goes, that's the biggest excuse I've ever heard. He's like, you're already 3 days in. Just freaking go with it.
Right.
And for a moment, I was just real quiet. I was like, you are so damn right. Like, this is me having to get past my excuses. Yeah. So I was just like, well, I guess I'm 3 days into 75 hard now, and just let it roll from there. So
so that's funny. I'm glad to hear that your start was kind of wonky too. Like it didn't go the way that you planned. It just stumbled upon it. So I had heard about it, like I said, from some people that we'd seen it on Facebook. So my birthday was July 24th.
Happy birthday.
It's July 24th. Thank you. And it was on a Sunday, so I went with my dad and some buddies and golfing and stuff, and had some drinks and probably ate like crap too, and then went to our pool party afterwards. And that was on Sunday. And then Monday, a little sluggish. Again, I was celebrating my birthday the night before, but in full transparency, I did have a pretty good diet and stuff before. It's not like I had a full 180 of something with my diet, nutrition, and working out, but so I had done nothing to break the rules of 75 hard yet that day, because my eating in the morning, I think I had like eggs and oatmeal. I pretty much only drink water and black coffee anyway. And then it was about noon in the day, and I think I went on a walk is what it was. I went on like a brisk walk because I was like, I'm not feeling a workout this morning. So I went on a walk, which isn't an uncommon thing that Stephanie and I do anyway.
Right.
And I saw someone else post that they were starting 75 hard that day. And I sat down and thought about it, and I'm like, okay, I haven't broken any of the rules today, but I definitely have a lot of stuff to make up for today, because I don't even know if I had drinking one of these of water yet, which is a fourth of a gallon.
Well, you still had time to catch up.
So what happened was I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do this. Let me think about this. When Stephanie gets back from wherever she was at, an appointment or something, I'm going to see if she wants to do it with me.
So you sprung this on her on day one?
I sprung this on her on day one. And at first, I thought she was just wanting me to do it. So she would say yes. So she said yes. I didn't think she was going to commit to it at all. I thought she was just like, all right, I want him to commit to it, and I'll stick with him for the first few weeks. So ended up doing the whole chugging water and having to pee at night. Yeah, that night, the water was the toughest thing that first day because we had to drink so much of it in the last few hours of the day because we didn't really commit until about 4 o'clock. So we're like, all right, I got to get a second workout in. I got to get down all this water, got to read, and then get the picture.
You started 75 hard on a hangover?
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah, I mean, it might not have been the worst hangover,
but
like you just kind of, all right, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
And you just went right into it.
Yep, I saw it. His name's Grady. I saw him make the post, and I'm like, all right, dang it, it's another person that's doing this.
The universe talks to you in weird ways, man. It just shows up.
And it happened to fall on, so this weekend we have a charity benefit that we're going to, and there's going to be nice foods and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is perfect. Like this is a sign we need to do this. I'm already feeling like crap, and I like to push myself a little bit anyway, so it's almost like my punishment to myself. Like, hey, you had too much fun yesterday. You gotta, do this
pay for
today.
it for 75 days. Yeah.
Well, yeah, 75 days. And Stephanie started, and she almost failed the first day because she doesn't usually drink any water, so she had to drink damn near a gallon, starting at about 3 p.m. I think it was, and that was a tough. And of course, set the bar up here in the beginning, so it just got easier from there.
Right.
But yeah, I basically started on a hangover, and
so
I've been doing it for 75 days.
I think we alluded to this a little bit. And our view of this may be skewed a little bit now that we're at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it about a program like 75 Hard that helps a business owner like us? All right, it's not. This isn't a bodybuilding program.
Right.
Like, this isn't a physical transformation program. Right. So what is it about this thing that why do you think we guys like us committed to this? And Stephanie. Obviously.
Yeah, again, for everybody that's like I don't want to do this fitness program, or I'm not into a fitness program. I think the physical effects were just a byproduct of it. It wasn't the point of. If you want to lose weight, there are probably more beneficial things that you could do if you need to meet with a trainer and figure out your body type, nutrition. There are more beneficial ways. That wasn't the point of this. It does have some physical benefits to it too, which was cool. But why? Like, how it benefit us as business owners and real estate agents is the biggest thing I think I wanted to get from it. And I don't even know I thought about this at first. Because again, at first I'm just like, let's do it.
You just kind of fell into it.
Yeah. But then I started really, really thinking about it. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it worth it. I'm not just going through the tasks. I am going to get something out of this. And for me, it was really the discipline. Like most people, I guarantee everybody watching this has at some point, maybe more frequent times than others, made the excuse, I don't have time. That was the biggest thing for me, is I don't have time to do this. So you said that you already read a lot before. I didn't, but I always wanted to. But guess what? I didn't have time. And I wanted to, try to get abs, which, again, I already worked out probably more than the average person.
I saw your picture this morning. You got some abs poking
through. Yeah, they're
there.
almost there. I'm not so, yeah, we'll get to that of my plans after this. But yeah, that was, and I was like, yeah, I don't have time to work out enough to do that. I don't have time to do this. That was my excuse, was I didn't have time.
I think that's a lot of people's, they feel like they don't have time.
Yeah. It's crazy how you find the time, though, when you mentally have made the decision, I don't have another choice but to find time.
Yeah, you see single mothers, newborn parents, you see people find the time. Yep. When stuff gets real and things get hard, you see people find the time. Why not normal, regular, everyday people who, where are the excuses coming from?
Right?
So yeah,
how that helps us as business owners is I maybe wanted to, like, right now I'm putting together a training program, and to me that if you would have asked me 75 days ago, I would have probably been like, I don't have time to do that, or now I'm not going to do that. Now I'm like, that's just something I want to do. I don't even care if it's horrible. I just want to do it.
Well, now you got an extra an extra 45 minutes out of your day.
Yeah.
Less time in the bathroom because you're not going to be drinking a whole gallon of water.
Yeah. So now I've talked about that, and I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. It's like what we think life's going to be like afterwards, but like, man, I'm not going to do 2 separate 45-minute workouts. It's just, I'm not going to do that from here. But am I just going to fill that 45 minutes back with scrolling on Facebook or just whatever, goofing off? Like, no, I'm going to do my same routine, except that 45 minutes now is going to be spent towards working on a project, growing something with my business, helping out a team member, whatever it is.
So you mentioned the thing about I don't have time, right? So listen to this equation that I worked out. And now the math could be completely screwed up. If you guys want to fact check me, I'm okay being wrong. But the math worked out when I did this. So if the average person sleeps 8 hours a day, that leaves 16 hours for the rest of the stuff, right? And we're working 8 hours a day,
right?
Or whatever the thing looks like. So if you take that 16 hours a day, let's say that you wake up 1 hour early. I don't care what your previous wake up time is.
Right.
Let's just say you wake up 1 hour early and you spend that hour on a project that is related to yourself. It's related to work. It's a side project, maybe a side hustle. Maybe you're selling makeup or Pampered Chef, or like you've got a side hustle there to help you get financially free or whatever that is. 1 hour per day, 365 days a year. That equates, if you divide the 365 days a year into 16 hours a day, you get an extra 22 and a half days per year. You get an extra freaking month.
When you think about it that way,
1 hour a day,
wild.
you get an extra month. You get 13 months a year.
Yeah.
And you think about how much work could you do if all you did for 22 and a half days? What could you get accomplished if all you did was work on that special thing?
Yeah.
So after the 75 hard, I'm like, okay, I see what time you wake up because you post the picture of the gym and you're holding yourself accountable and you're letting people hold you accountable.
Which is funny because I actually started that a little bit before 75 hard.
I know.
And I did that for my own accountability because I said I want to be the kind of person that gets up early. That was my only thing is I want to be the kind of person that wakes up early. Not I'm going to wake up early and work out. That is
billionaires wake up early,
right? And that's everything that I've ever seen says that successful people wake up early. So I said I want to be the kind of person that wakes up early.
And that's called mind over mattress.
Yeah,
right.
Mind over mattress.
So I told you I lined out my calendar and I was like, okay, how the hell am I going to do this? Like, what am I going to do? So I was like, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? And I'm going to read and I'm going to do my thing. It's like, well, I got to get my kid up at 5:45, so that's not going to work. So I set my alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning.
All right, pushed it a little further than I do.
Well, I was like, man, this is going to be tough. So I was like, 4 o'clock in the morning, here we go. I guess we're going to do this. First thing I would do, I would hit the coffee pot. Coffee starts brewing. And then I would pick up my book and I would start knocking out my reading. And then once I'm done with the book, I shut the book, I throw the weight vest on, and I get outside. And sometimes I'm going outside without a weight vest. I got dumbbells in the driveway or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm done with the reading. I'm done with the workout. And I've already taken the progress picture when I get back from my workout. So I've got those 3 tasks knocked out early. And I try to get the outdoor workout knocked out early unless it's raining in the morning and I got a window in the afternoon.
So I started doing that too, the outdoor workout in the morning. I actually have flopped it now just because here in Kentucky it's getting a little chilly in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the workout, but I've only got today left. But I did that all the way up until about a week ago. The outdoor workout, I just found it to be more convenient too because I have a kind of a home gym. So I'm like, okay, if I needed to get that indoor workout in, I don't know what the weather's going to be, anything like that. So like I can control the morning. I don't know what the rest of the day is going to be like. And that's why I started doing it in the morning.
The other thing that I did to kind of save myself, because there was one day where I hit the snooze button. No, I turned the alarm off instead of hitting the snooze button on accident.
Okay.
And I freaked out because I woke up at 6:06 on a Saturday. It's Saturday. I got the whole day, right? I freaked out. I was like 6:06. And by the way, for that 75 days, 6:06 a.m. was the latest that I woke up. Every other day was between 4 and 5.
I don't remember what time it was. We did sleep in a little bit one day. When I say sleep in, I think it was maybe 7. I don't know. But again, it's so wild what you become accustomed to. I'm calling 7 o'clock sleeping in, but there was one day the kids were with grandparents and stuff, and we stayed up till like midnight. I don't know, watching Netflix or something. But anyway, it's
and after that day, after the day where I hit the stop button on the alarm instead of the snooze button, I took my phone. And when I plugged it in far enough away from the bed where my feet had to touch. I literally had to touch my feet to the floor to get to it. And I was like, and I would grab my phone, grab my socks, grab my shoes, and I would head downstairs.
Yeah.
And it like when I freaked out and woke up at 6:06, like it did something to me mentally. I was like, I almost screwed it up. Like I had a routine.
Well, and have you had this start to happen? So this morning, I don't know if it's because it was like I'm like a kid on Christmas, on Christmas Eve last night. But this morning, I wanted to get into the gym a little early because I knew my first workout was definitely going to take longer than 45 minutes because I wanted to torture myself a little bit on the last day.
Last day.
Yeah. So I set my alarm for 4:30, and I was up at like 4:13 or something, and I'm like, I'm just giddy and ready to go.
Well,
so,
I mean, you've worked so hard for this day.
Yeah, and I've had that happen some days though, where my alarm was set for 4:45 every morning. But there are some mornings where it would just naturally wake up, and I'm like, well, am I going to go back to sleep for 10 minutes? Which is a thing that previous Cameron would have done. I would have been like, I need these extra 10 minutes, and I know most people do that. They're all like, well, yeah, I want to squeeze out every juice of laying in this bed as I can, and it's just crazy how I don't know if something was broke or now it's or it's been fixed and now it's broken. I don't know. Something in here has changed.
It's different.
Or it's different. And now I'm like, I'm getting an extra 10 minutes of life and day. And not that I didn't enjoy life before, but now I don't look at it the same. Like, I don't want to lay in bed and just get an extra 10 minutes. Like, I got an extra 10 minutes to to start on my workout and get it done. And then I'm done earlier. And then I got more time.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say on time with that early wake up is I found that whether I wake up at 7 in the morning or I wake up at 4 in the morning, it still takes me about the same amount of energy and time to get lucid.
Yeah.
Right? Like 4 o'clock's not bad once you're used to it.
Right.
You get up, coffee, do your thing, get your routine, 15, 20 minutes in, your energy's there. Like you're ready to go. So
I think the routine, so how it sounds like you had a routine of setting your phone a little bit away and getting
the
up.
little things, man.
Yeah. I found you want to get more time, get a routine. You want to get more time, get a routine.
That helps us in business too.
Yes.
It's like because our life in real estate is so wacky. Like you get the call at 11 o'clock. It's like, hey, I got a lunch break and this house just hit the market. Can we go see it?
Right.
If you don't have systems and checks and balances and a routine, like that can throw you off your entire day.
Yeah.
But if you have checks and balances throughout your day and you're mentally strong enough to get back on track.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like a lot of people, I know Stephanie's eyes would glaze over if I said this to her, but it's almost like I have like SOPs, like standard operating procedures for my personal life.
I love it.
And I don't have them written, but they're in here. And like for, our regular business might write them out, but like every evening, I have an evening like decompress kind of routine, or my ritual before I go upstairs, like walk around the house, make sure the doors are locked, make sure the lights are off, make sure the coffee pot, since we use an old school coffee pot, and I make sure it's set. And then I look around, is there any last minute things I need to tidy, need to make sure I actually had my book, my planner setting on the couch, ready for me in the morning. I had my headphones.
That's discipline,
my
man.
protein bar.
That was way more intense than I would. I'm intense in the morning.
Well, I did see. I found that the more I did the night before, and I had my shorts were laid out on the floor, so I would get up and I would pull my shorts on.
That's some executive level shit right there, man.
I have. It sounds like crazy. I guess saying it does sound kind of crazy, but I'm telling you that next day. Like some people, I know they want to spend like, okay, I need to spend like 30 minutes or an hour getting myself ready for the day mentally. Like I did so much the night before, and really, I say so much. I'm at the point now. This takes me 5-10 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And in the morning,
made your day so much easier.
Yeah. So it's the less I have to think about, less brain power I have to spend in the morning. I don't have to be as disciplined in the morning because Cameron the night before made sure that everything was okay. So if I'm feeling a little blah.
You give yourself a little gift in the morning.
Exactly.
Every night you give yourself tomorrow's Cameron a new gift.
And I'm not
I love
perfect
that.
with it. There were mornings that I didn't, but guess what? I was mad at Cameron the night before that he didn't make this morning's Cameron a good day.
You looked in the mirror and you're like, I was weak last night.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So, damn, we could spend all day unpacking this stuff. I want to move to the diet thing because there's a big question there, and a lot of people get hung out to dry on the diet. And I want to hear your experience. Like, how did you? The thing about 75 Hard and the nutrition or diet piece of it is that it's not preset. That's
the one part you get to kind of be a little creative with.
Yeah. So you don't have to follow what they tell you to do because they don't really give you anything to follow. They say pick it at the beginning and stick to it. So what were your parameters on it?
So Yeah, so I wanted to, like I said, I would say I had a better diet than majority of people to begin with, and that's just because I've been working out off and on for years anyway. I used to work in gyms, and my whole diet beforehand was going in like I wasn't a big sweets person, but I really like my thing was I had to have a protein with every meal, even if it was a cheat meal. If I didn't have protein with it, I felt like just off.
Now you're saying protein, you mean like meat or
protein shake, something or like meat, something like that. So with the diet, it was I'm going to cut out snacking. And so I didn't set like a caloric limit, anything like that. It was I'm going to cut out snacking, 100% cut out chips, pretzels, stuff like that. Absolutely no cheese and pretty much no dairy, almost 100%.
Cut out dairy?
I almost cut out 100% of dairy besides whey protein was my only
dairy
kind of dairy. And sometimes it was the muscle milk, so
there's no dairy in muscle milk.
There's no dairy in muscle milk. I forget how it's different. But anyway, besides the whey protein, I mean, which wasn't even all the time because I was consuming it mostly through foods. But yeah, no cheeses, no milks, which I'm a big cheese guy. This was a really big struggle for me.
Wow, that is a stretch. I went, the only thing I had cheese on through this whole thing is when I get Chipotle, I just had a little light cheese on there.
Yeah.
But I limited it.
I didn't on Chipotle.
Well, tomorrow, dude.
Yeah.
Load up.
Yeah. So I would say I went more with like I guess it would be like a paleo diet. It's like meats. I was allowed to have like potato, but not like I could bake it, but I couldn't put a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah.
Basically, if you could go out and hunt it or harvest it yourself, that was it. But we really didn't eat out much. I think we went out before and I had a steak, but I was that weird guy that was being picky about it because when really I wasn't. It was just because I wanted to make sure there wasn't a whole bunch of butter and stuff on it. No breads. That was a big thing too, which like I said, cheeses and breads are a big thing for me because I'm the kind of person that, especially because we're so busy, is I would make a lunch meat sandwich with a pretty hefty portion of lunch meat on it and then a slice of cheese and bread. And again, I'm a pretty active guy. I'm like, this is good on the go lunch. It's better than me getting McDonald's or something. So cutting that out was
I did something similar, right? So my thing was no sugar, no added sugar.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And then once I came out of the gate, I was like, every gosh damn thing has some kind of added sugar in it. And unless it's a keto, like a ketogenic food where it's like they use sugar alcohols instead of actual added sugar. I found that really hard.
That was one of the things I was going to implement. And then I just kind of changed it to just be smart about it. Look at everything else you're eating because it's so tough to have zero added sugar.
Well, it's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
You can have fruits and vegetables and stuff. They have natural sugars in them. But like even just like supplements, like when you take supplements at the gym, like there are added sugars in some supplements. So like that was tough. I think, I ended up having stuff and it would have like less than 2 grams or 2 micrograms or something like that of added sugar or however they measure it out. But I think one thing that I see, especially in the Facebook group when it comes to the diet on the 75 Hard official Facebook group, is people get way too restrictive before they start this thing.
Yeah.
And then they hold themselves accountable to something that's damn near impossible.
Right. And I think the cool thing about the diet is it's something you want to pick and what your goals are. If your goals are to lose weight,
not eat cereal.
Right. So Stephanie's thing was no cereal. And part of that was just to mildly torture herself. But, oh gosh, we got here. Oh, geez.
Right there for you.
This is her favorite cereal. And when I say favorite cereal, so her breakfast pre-75 Hard would be a bowl of Fruity Pebbles with protein shake. Almost always her breakfast. And then her like guilty pleasure late night snack would be a bowl of cereal. So she was a two-a-day bowl of cereal kind of gal.
Wow.
And that was besides the first day hump, which is crazy because for me, I only eat cereal if she makes me like feel like I should have a bowl of cereal.
There's no other option.
Yeah, I don't really care for cereal that much. I'm not even a big sweets guy. That's what, again, cutting out snacking for me was a big thing because I could crush a bag of chips and not even think twice about it.
So like here's the thing I want to get into on the diet. It's like, okay, we get to pick our own diet. right? And you pick whatever you want. You cut out cheese, you can cut out sugar. My thing was bread too. I didn't have a tortilla, no tortilla chips, no bread, like no.
Yeah, and we had
no
Taco
pizza.
Tuesday at home, and it was a bowl with like lettuce and beef and tomatoes, and that was it.
But like, so our jobs, like I said, is as real estate agents, we're highly unpredictable day to day. Like everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and it's like, okay, you get that punch in the mouth, and it's like, hey, Cameron, can you come show me this house or whatever? And then then your meal plan just falls apart. Usually in our industry, we see a lot of real estate agents end up getting their lunch and dinners through a drive-through window or at a gas station.
Yeah, guilty sometimes. So.
I mean, it's happened. Like the McDonald's dollar menu McDoubles, they're not bad in a pinch, right?
Yeah.
But then like you give yourself a little leeway there, and then the next thing you know is like, oh, I just swing through and get some McDoubles, and then the next thing you know, you've done it 4 times this week.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
so easy to start
like
that
habit.
Yeah, that's what it says. That's what I mean. Some of it was, would it have killed my diet if I was allowed to have the tortilla shell with it on top? If I got like one of the low carb tortilla shells, would that have been a big deal? No. But the whole point of it was, which is what I like about the diet, is, I mean, you're doing this for 75 days. So if it's not like I'm going to do it for a week, so yeah, it's not that big of a deal. You're doing it for 75 days. If you're going to go all in on something for 75 days, get the most out of it.
Can I share with you where I'm at right now when it comes to this diet thing?
Yes, I would love to. That's what I want to hear.
On day, yeah, you want to hear?
You're 1 week out.
I'm
right?
done. Like, I'm 1 week finished.
Yeah.
So I'm out of jail. Yeah. And you'll be out of jail tomorrow, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't see it as jail anymore. Like I'm like, holy crap, this stuff's sticking.
Yeah.
There's 2 points here. The second point is I've created a monster that I want to tell you about. Number one, though, is on day 5 or 6. I told my wife, I was like, look, when this 75 days is over, I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm going to buy a dozen donuts, and I'm going to go hide, and I don't want any questions. Like, I don't want you asking anything, but I'm craving some crap food right now.
Yeah.
70 days later, on the last day, she goes, where are you getting your donuts from tomorrow? And I said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but a donut is about as attractive to me right now as a cactus.
Yeah.
It's like, they say it takes 66 days to create a habit. Dude, on day 75, like there were donuts lying in a conference room, and I was like, it just doesn't look good to me anymore.
Yeah.
Like you take the last picture on day 75, and it's like, I know what it took.
Oh yeah.
To get to this point. And then so the other thing, post 75 hard, and I want to know what your experience is with this.
Okay.
Because for 75 days, you have made 0 excuses about this program. If you've made it this far, you're probably like me. You probably sat on the couch at 10 o'clock at night one night with your shoes sitting in front of you. I had my weight vest sitting beside me, and I was getting ready to go out for that outdoor workout. And Leanne's sitting right there next to me, and she's just like, you got another workout to do, don't you? I was like, I do. And I sat there for another 10 minutes, and she's watching Handmaid's Tale or something like that. And I'm just sitting there staring at my phone thinking. And she goes, what the hell are you waiting for? Put the vest on and get the hell out of here.
Right.
And I'm like, you're so right. And so I'd throw the vest on, and then I'd go out for a walk, or I'd go out for a jog or something like that. And so the thing about creating a monster, and this is where I feel like I have to watch out now. Right, because
I'm ready to hear. I'm excited to hear this.
I've got employees in my real estate business. I've got partners at the gym. I've got an Airbnb business. I've got my rental properties. I've got people counting on me all around. But the thing is that I started this and you started this because you wanted to be a better person and you want to limit the excuses. You want to climb a mountain.
Yes.
And you want to see what you're capable of. And you've gotten to the top of the mountain now. You've made it to the 75 days as long as you drink all that water and get one more workout in.
Yes.
And don't screw up your diet, right?
Yeah.
And no cheese, and don't eat that.
Right. No.
So the problem that I'm having right now that I'm struggling with is that when I hear the excuses come out of people's mouth, I get a physical response. I'm just like, you big baby. Like, you can do this. You just don't want to. You're choosing not to. It's not because you can't. It's because you're choosing not to. And like that monster in me is like I got to hold on and stop because what I want to say, if I say it, it's going to tear that relationship apart.
Right.
So I got to watch out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're feeling the same way.
Yeah,
or if you
so it's, again, I've been fortunate that Stephanie decided to do the whole thing with me. I thought she was going to fall from the beginning, and she was having like a cereal, which I think it was somewhat of like sugar withdrawals because she was a big sugar person. And
mood swings?
Yeah, the first week was rough. It was rough for her, for me being around her, and she knows it. Oh, she'll laugh about it. She'll make a joke
real
about
life,
it.
yeah.
And but we've talked about exactly what you're talking about, and a good thing we had each other to vent to, because there are times, and it's not like I'm not a mean person. I'm not like wanting to talk down to someone. It's almost like you're making an excuse, do it. Like, and so we have seen, especially because, yes, not sugarcoating it, or I don't want to, but which has been, I just don't say anything, because like I know what I want to say is going to come off as I'm just being a jerk. And really, that's not it. It's, I know that what you're saying is BS. You're telling yourself this BS. And outside of absolute horrible things like some sort of life or death or tragic incident, it's usually an excuse. I mean, there are a 0.01% where it's probably valid, but the majority of it, it's not. And that's, yes, we have seen, especially because everybody shares everything in the world on Facebook, and it's like, I know this is full of it. Or you hear somebody say something like, no, I know that's not true. Like I made in my post, I had mentioned something about this foot pain I was having. It's gone. It was like in the arch of my foot, and I don't know.
Plantar fasciitis.
Yeah. And I'm sure that was induced by all of the time I've been on my feet working out, and maybe it was my shoes too. But anyway, I got it gone. Or I got rid of it. It's gone. Yeah, but I pushed through that, and I did walk a little funky, like I was walking weird on my foot. But normally, Cameron, pre this, I would have found that as an excuse to not work out.
Yeah.
And that's why when I see someone else's excuse, like, I was feeling tired this morning, I'm like, that's probably what kind of grinds my gears the most, is when somebody's like, I couldn't wake up to do this, or I didn't get enough sleep last night. One of the mornings I got 4 hours sleep, and I had to go do all this. I didn't have a choice. I'll tell you a quick, this is how one of my biggest tests when I was doing this was my son and stepson, they're in the same grade, and we had an overnight trip at Camp Carlisle.
Mm-hmm.
I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to get both of them after, and I didn't go to sleep early the night before like I should have. I was up till like 11. This is the 4 hours
sleep. Clothes out and stuff at 11.
Yeah, well, and packing for a trip and all that, because of course everything in the world of real estate happened the day before, so I didn't have time to plan. So I had to get up at 3 a.m. on 4 hours sleep, do my one workout, try to do some work, because I'm not going back to sleep now. That way I needed enough space in between my two workouts so I could get my second workout in and then go on this trip. So plus I had to make sure I drank my gallon of water before 8 a.m. that morning.
Oh my God.
I was
Between
too afraid.
3 a.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning, you drink a gallon of water?
Yeah. I was too paranoid. I was going to fail. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen on this trip. We don't have time. Little did I know I had plenty of opportunities to drink water.
Right.
I probably drank almost 2 gallons that day because we were moving so much. But I didn't have a choice. And then on that trip, I packed some protein bars just in case, which actually ended up getting lucky. I was able to kind of pick out lots of the things. Like one, it was like fajitas, so I just ate the chicken and the rice. And so anyway, it worked out. But that was one of my most it was an
intense day.
Yeah. And I was so paranoid. Like, I'm not going to go do this because I know how excited they are for me to go on this. But I was thinking, like, this is when I failed, because it was less than a month in. I was not even a month in.
The whole excuses thing, man. It's like, I told you when I got started with this thing. Max, how are we on time?
48 minutes.
All right, we're good.
Okay.
So when we got started with this thing, I was testing it out, and I was going to wait to start when I got back from vacation.
Yeah.
Part of our vacation was a trip to Cedar Point.
Oh, okay.
So Cedar Point opens at 10, and I was told that we're going to open and close the park. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Be there for a while.
10 to 10. So that's a 12-hour day at Cedar Point. And they're like, hey, we're going to get so many steps in, you can just count that as one of your workouts. I says, au contraire. I cannot count a trip to Cedar Point walking around through an amusement park as a workout.
And that's an integrity thing.
That's an integrity thing. Some people would say, oh, well, I had 27,000 steps. Like, I got my 45. That counts for an outdoor 45-minute workout.
Right.
So I was like, nope, not letting myself get away with that bullshit.
Yeah.
So I woke up at 3:30 that morning.
Mm-hmm.
I read. Mm-hmm. I got my outdoor workout in because I knew the workouts had to be 3 hours apart. Mm-hmm. So I got my outdoor workout in, and I was done with an outdoor workout, had a little bit of breakfast, I forget what else I did.
Yeah.
Probably started my water, took my progress picture. And then right before we left to go to Cedar Point, I finished my second workout. So I had 2 workouts in before we ever went and got 27,000 steps in.
Yeah.
But have you ever tried to eat clean at an amusement park?
So I can only imagine, because we just went to Kings Island for the Halloween haunt a week ago. I didn't eat anything because there was nothing there we could eat.
So limiting excuses, getting
I
excuses
wasn't
out of
there
the way.
12 hours though. So.
Jesus, sir. So I roasted broccoli before we went. That was what I was doing in the morning too. I was roasting broccoli and sweet potatoes. I had a gallon-sized bag of broccoli and sweet potatoes, and we had some bananas and some tuna packets and stuff like that we took with us, and we snuck them into the park because all they had was hoagies and pizza and pasta and all this junk. Well, it's not junk, but it's just not clean eating, right?
Right. It didn't fit your diet. Yeah.
And so I grinded through that broccoli and sweet potatoes, and I'm getting hungry. It's about lunchtime. All they had, so they had 100-calorie Caesar salads with no toppings on them. It was like one slice
chicken on it.
It was like a
anything.
sliver of Parmesan cheese, and it was 100 calories. And then they had all this, like Italian dressing and all this stuff. So I got 2 salads that were like $8 a piece for 100 calories. So I had 200 calories for $16.
Oh, yeah.
So I stacked these things up, and I'm just slamming this lettuce like you wouldn't believe. And we go jump on this roller coaster. And then when we get off the roller coaster, we go through the thing where like they sell the pictures and the T-shirts and stuff on the like you rode this ride and buy all this crap, right? So they had a bag of beef jerky there. Like 2 bags of beef jerky. And I was like, I got my wallet out. I was like, I need all that beef jerky right now.
I don't even care with the prices. I'm sure it's like $30 a bag, but I need it.
And like, I was starving. So when we got home that night at like 11 o'clock at night, I went straight to the kitchen, and I'm like bananas and apples, and I'm just slamming food like crazy because the amount of calories I burned that day to what I took in was not enough.
Right.
But when it comes to making excuses, when people were like, I just didn't have time to food prep. Like the monster that I created is like, I believe in you. Like,
right.
You got to really tone it down, because it's like, that's bullshit, because you got all that. You put TikTok down for a second and go make some food that you can take to the lunch with you.
It gets back to the
Sorry
ways
for my
to make
brashness on that.
No,
it's just a passion of mine right now.
It is, we again, Stephanie and I, thank goodness, have had each other to like bicker to about it, but it really is, because and especially when I see what the excuse is, I'm like, that's not even a real excuse. Like, at least give me something more valid.
Like, you're better than that. What else you got?
Well, yeah. So people are just that's one of the bigger things is I don't have the time and excuses. If I've walked away, or if I'm walking away with anything, it's I thought I didn't make excuses for many things before, which maybe I was better than average. I don't know.
Yep.
But now it's a whole nother level, and I like how you said, like, created a monster with it. And I think
you got a little monster in you?
There's 2 ways to look at it. Is yes, you've created that monster, and maybe you might be a little too aggressive with it, or did you just almost like evolve into an even better version of absolutely no excuses?
There's a quote out there. It's like, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. So I
like that.
It's like,
never heard that, but I like it.
If you can be that accountable monster, the person who knows that they can achieve it, but use it when you need to, So that's what I'm working on right now. It's just like that directness. I need to just consider who I'm talking to make sure that what I'm saying is received properly.
Right.
So
it could be a benefit, because you can also, again, as long as you can control it and calibrate, is now you have something within you that maybe you can help someone else that you've lived it. Again, you're not going to be able to help everyone, because they're not going to be willing to or open to receiving it. But someone that you can tell, like, I can tell this person needs a little tough love right now, and I'm able to give it to them.
So the thing that I've started to use lately is, do you mind, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how honest can I be with you right now?
Okay.
And if they tell me I want a 10, I'll give them a 7, right?
Okay.
Like, I won't tell them, like, I won't be like harsh with it.
Yeah.
But I've started to use that a little bit. It's like, hey, I have some feedback for you if you want it. Mm-hmm. And then I'll like prepare them for it in that way, and then I'll give it to them. Last but not least, let's just kind of go over this. Today's day 75. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yes.
Right? You get to continue with the rest of your life tomorrow, and you're not beholden to your commitment of 75 hard anymore. But I bet some stuff is going to stick.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think you're going to hold on to from 75 hard?
I could probably have some sort of deep like therapist session about this
because I've been scarred for life.
I've been thinking about this, and Stephanie and I have been talking about this for at least the last 3 weeks of it. And partly, I was nervous at first when I first started thinking about it. I'm like, oh shoot, like this is my excuse almost for my excuse to do the good things that I've been doing. So when someone may say, hey, you know, if we're going to like a get together with friends, I mean, we still did stuff. We were not just a recluse the whole time that didn't go do anything. I mean, we went to dinner with friends. We've had people over our house at pool parties, and everyone there has a drink in their hand but us.
Right.
And we went out and got snacks and junk food for everybody, and we couldn't eat. I'm sitting there eating a handful of peanuts. Like, that's it. Or I had Alani energy drink, and I put it in the koozie that I would normally use for alcohol, and I was just walking around that the whole time. When I finished it, I just filled it with water. So, I've been really, like, we've been trying to put ourselves in positions that are going to be realistic to post 75 hard. And part of it, again, was a little nervous. Like, I could always tell it, I can't drink that, I'm doing that. Oh, okay. And people let it go. Whereas now I'm like, I don't have that excuse to not do the bad things. Mm-hmm. So what am I going to do? And I'm sure this is going to change, but here's my post 75 hard life that I am shooting for. I have this. I'm at the end here. I got to make a decision. So, and what I am going to make the effort for, and again, this may adapt, is 45 minutes to one workout per day. Whether that's indoor or outdoor is going to depend on.
But staying active every day.
Staying active, yeah. And I'm wanting to stick to 7 days a week. And now that doesn't mean I'm going to be lifting weights 7 days a week.
Can I come work out with you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I need this accountability.
Yeah, I'll come work out with you.
I'll work out with myself a lot. So, or with Stephanie. Besides that, so one workout, and again, it may just be, hey, it's a Sunday, let's go for a walk outside, or hey, I actually have started trying to do some yoga because that feels great. So,
well, and these, you do 150 workouts in 75 days. They can't all be CrossFit.
Exactly.
Like, you've got to take time and stretch. You've got to
be smart about it. Don't try to do 2 like weightlifting sessions 7 days a week. You're gonna hurt yourself.
There's no parameters on what the workout has to be. You just have to do something that is not normal for your routine. Like, if you normally walk to work, I really wouldn't count that as a workout.
Right.
But if you make time when you get home from work to go for a walk,
exactly,
that's stretching.
Yeah. So the one workout, indoor or outdoor, I'm not gonna restrict myself on that part. But I may make an intention to actually go out more because I do like that. Mm-hmm. I did get out more with this. As we know, being busy, it's easy to be like, oh, I haven't really seen sunlight besides going from my car into a house, into an office, into my car. So the one workout, the nutrition, I like like whole foods, things like that. So sticking with that's not going to be too difficult. But the snacking is where I think I'm just going to give myself built-in, like we have a setup in the basement where the boys and I like to watch sports. So I may say, okay, when it's Saturdays and we're watching college football, that's when I'm allowed to have some snacks. Now, am I going to go all out and eat a whole pizza? No, I'm still going to be smart with portion control, but I like food. I'm going to do that. So whether it's like a date night, that may be my exception, or doing stuff with our sons where we may hang out, I'm going to give myself some leeway with that. But on the day-to-day, I'm going to try to cut out the snacking and still stick with some pretty good health or health choices. Water. I am going to continue to carry this bottle around with me everywhere.
The thing is, like, it's been with you since day one, hasn't it?
It has. I probably need to throw it away and get a new one, honestly. It's probably, the inside of this is probably disgusting. It has been washed, but not as frequent as it should have been. But I'm going to keep that with me. And with my morning workout, because I'm also going to do my workouts in the morning, by the time the kids are on the bus, I've already drank half a gallon every day because I've done my workout and I just carry this around with me. So I know I'm going to get in at least somewhere between half a gallon to a gallon of water every day. So I'm not gonna beat myself up about it, but I will be intentional about just carrying this thing with me.
But the reading,
reading, yes, absolutely. That's been one of my favorite parts because I've always said I wanted to read more, but I had this one book that it probably took me 2 months to read. It was only a 200-page book. That's crazy. It shouldn't take that long. Right. So I'm gonna shoot for about 10 pages, but if the chapter is 9 pages, I'm going to stop at that.
Man, the thing that I've started to do is if I'm reading a book and if I've gotten a third of the way into it and it's just not talking to me, I'll put it down and like put it in maybe I'll try it later pile.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to keep in mind is don't make, because you want it to be enjoyable still. If it feels like a struggle to do, you're not going to want to keep doing it. So,
Right.
and there's so many books to choose
What about
from.
waking up early? 4:45.
So actually my goal would be to get to 4:30 every day.
I love it. You want me to call you at 4:30? I've been up for a half hour by then. So
Maybe I do need that. So, see, now I'm like, do I need that sort of accountability? Do I want that kind of pressure? So my goal, I mean, yeah,
22 extra days a year.
Yeah. So 4:30 waking up, and then on Saturdays and Sundays, I might give myself to like 5:30 or something.
You earned it.
But yeah, I might give myself a little, but still, I might sleep until 6. But
So
yeah.
like I've definitely kept up with the early morning wake up. I don't read every day. Like I do a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah.
But during this whole thing of reading physical books, like I've got one I'm on, Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson right now.
Okay.
It's a great book. So I'm still chipping away at that. I'm not really sticking to 10 pages. I'll read a little bit. But what I find is while I'm reading, I get inspired. And I'm working on a project right now that I'm writing something, and I get inspired by reading, and I'm like, oh my God, I got a good idea. So I start outlining my thoughts.
Yeah.
And it gets the brain working, and it puts me in my project mode. And if I've got 22 days a year that I'm focused on nothing but, working on my project, it's like I'm still getting up early. I'm going to get this done.
Well, it's getting inspiration from the reading. So that's why I don't want to set a limit on the reading. I want to do it. I'm going to do it because I have gotten good ideas. It's gotten me, as you know, I like to be very active on social media. It's given me ideas of, wow, I could relate this to my life. So it's a great catalyst for ideas. But the thing that's been kind of a bummer is I will get an idea and then I still got 6 pages to read. And instead I'm like, I want to stop. Like I got it. The whole point of me reading is to improve me somehow. I got this idea. I want to put this down and hop to this idea.
Yep.
And then maybe by the end of it, there are times when I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to do that because I finished my reading and now I got to go do this.
I've started to carry a journal with me, and I'm not great about journaling. I've always wanted to get better at journaling, but I'm mid-30s now. My memory's slipping a little bit, so it's like now I carry this thing and I have a really good idea. I'm like, oh crap, where's the journal? Like I got to write this thing down.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll come back to that later, and it's starting to work a little bit, but yeah, the inspiration that comes from self-development books, hearing people who have walked in the shoes that we're trying to get to, it's huge for creativity, for helping your clients, all that.
Yeah, and the last thing, and this is funny to me because this has been the biggest thing that people have said why they can't do it, is no alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm telling you, if you're someone that, we can't drink that frequently anyway because we're so busy and because kids, but like I said, I started it the day after drinking, but if you are someone that's like, I just have a couple drinks every night, maybe you should do this just to see how clear your mind will feel. I'm not saying give up alcohol for life. I'm not trying to be that guy that's going to drill that down your throat. But what I am saying is the amount of clarity that I have felt, and I know it's not just from not drinking, it's from the
quality
water,
of your sleep,
like everything. Give yourself these 75 days to just try life being the best, cleanest version of yourself that you can be, the most optimal version. And like, it sounds like you're feeling the same way I'm feeling. It's almost like I've created some sort of addiction to doing this stuff because I feel so good about it.
You're addicted to the achievement.
Yes.
The small victories, the daily successes that you're having.
Yeah.
And that's contagious.
Yeah. It feels like and that's when I said my fear of getting to the end of this, I'm like, what if I fall off and then I lose this? Because we have had so many great things happen over the past.
Have you heard
75
about
days.
people doing the 75 soft, where they do everything but cut the alcohol out?
I have seen different versions of it. I've seen that one. There's like a 75 medium, and where it's like you only do one 45-minute workout, which is probably what the soft is. You do, yeah. So I've seen people say made my own version of it.
My only statement on alcohol, I've got my own beliefs on alcohol, but my only statement on the alcohol thing is that if you're having that much trouble committing to not drinking for a period of time, maybe you should evaluate your relationship with alcohol.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah. And I know so many people it's probably going to, the way
it's a sensitive subject.
It is, but it's 75 days.
And what I find when I talk to people about the alcohol thing, like we're just having a conversation, they immediately start justifying why they're not an alcoholic. It's like,
I know, I'm just talking about 75 days.
Yeah, we're just talking about habits here, man. Like I didn't accuse you of anything. So, but I think that a lot of people fear letting that go, and they fear like, hey, this does something for me. I need to let that go, and they're like, but it does so much that I just don't want to.
I'm telling you, the high that you're gonna feel from life is just I have never felt
Powerful.
so like confident and powerful, and I just feel great about myself. Like I know before we walked in here, you were saying how excited you were, and I'm like, I could be jumping up and down right now
You kick that door off the hinges right there.
Yeah, there's this gif of The Rock like flexing and I saw somebody post the other day. I'm like, that's how I feel this whole last week. It's like just man.
Yeah, it's good. So I'm proud of you, man. 75
Appreciate
days.
Appreciate it.
I've been right there, and
Yeah.
I'm a week out. I'm glad that you can kind of take a deep breath and relax a little bit. But you will wake up tomorrow, and you're like, all right, what do I like? Your mind is just going to be like, all right, I got stuff to do. I got to get it done. And you're like, okay, I don't have to drink all that water today. I don't have to do it. So congratulations on making it to the end. You too, Stephanie. I got you this awesome box of Fruity Pebbles.
I might keep that in my trunk until tomorrow. But.
So Stephanie said this morning that she might have one bowl. I got her a mega size box. Yeah. I want you to report back.
See, well, she said one bowl. The caveat is
How
which
big's
bowl?
the bowl?
Yeah, is she going to pick one of the mixing
Get
bowls?
the salad bowl out of there and do that. But so the message from today is that when you surround yourself with people who are climbing a mountain, people who know that there's more out there for themselves, and if your real estate agent is doing everything they can to cut out the excuses, everything you can to be the best agent and person and father and husband that they can, or wife, like, you've got the right person.
Mm-hmm. I apologize for everything now that goes wrong because it's my fault. I take
extreme
so much,
ownership. You read that book. I saw you post that thing. I read it right after you did because you posted it. So thank you for doing that.
Ownership for everything. It doesn't matter. It's my fault. You rear-ended me. I guess I should have been paying more attention.
Sorry, I should have got out of the way.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But it does something different to you when you just take the day by day at a time and you focus on yourself. Mm-hmm. So, Real Estate Momentum Podcast, thanks for watching. This is Cameron Berens, friend of mine right here in Northern Kentucky Real Estate. Stay tuned for more.
See you guys.